My God, what else can happen? We're in the grip of a deadly pandemic that shows no sign of slowing. Our country is beset by a plague of hostile racism. Blacks are dying weekly in the streets at the hands of those who take an oath to protect and serve them. And now our dear friend Liz is taken from us way too soon. Most likely the result of giving her life to serve the victims of the World Trade Center bombings. Devastation at every turn. David, Liz, and Josh are three of my dearest friends. I have visited their home, dined with them. We played with arts and crafts. I've had the honor of entertaining them in my home. We didn't have to hang out often to be instantly at ease with one another when we gathered. This family joined Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church in 2003, where I was preaching. Before I even knew them, I found out David was a professional film editor. And I had the audacity to approach him and say, "Hey, David, I want to be on the reality TV show Survivor. I need a 3-minute application video. How about filming it for me?" That would have been like David coming up and saying, "How about building a bookcase for me for free?" Well, he did help me, and he did a remarkable job, especially considering the actor that he had to work with. David, I still owe you that bookcase. And Reverend Liz has saved me more than I can count. When I had a crushing setback in my ministry, I swore off church and wallowed in self-pity for 3 years. But my good friend Liz Teal was preaching every month at this very All Souls church. And so I licked my wounds and came. She brought me back to life and hope. And when George Floyd was murdered in a gutter on the street of Minneapolis last month, anger and hatred gripped my heart and burned my soul. I considered giving up on ministry again. Love has failed, I thought. We're heading for a civil war. As well we may be. 58 years ago, President John F. Kennedy said, "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable." And the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, "A riot is the language of the unheard." And what is it that America has failed to hear? And I knew on which side I would fight. I struggled hard to find a message worthy of the call to love that we as Unitarian Universalists embrace and that our principles affirm and promote. And then, as so often in the past, the Reverend Liz came to my rescue. Her final sermon, which she called Embodied, so lovingly recorded by David in their backyard garden, so fragile and so poignant in its simple elegance and power, brought me to my knees. Her message speaks both to her personal life and to this treacherous time in human history. It speaks to our social isolation and our racial segregation. Her message, human touch. You can easily find this sermon with a computer search of Reverend Liz Teal, YouTube, Buckman Bridge, Embodied. There is, in fact, a wonderful body of work from Liz on the internet with her ministry of animals and her blogs and online sermons. David has added his fantastic film editing. In that final sermon, Liz said, "We are embodied souls. Here and now, in this present moment, we are holy beings. We require all the elements of life," she said, "but two that are essential, that we forget all the time, are love and touch. Especially now," she said, "with social distancing, and I would add, with these tragic times of hate and loss." Liz borrowed a quote from social media author Bo Taplin, who wrote, "Your body is not a temple. Your body is a forest. Thick canopies of maple trees and sweet-scented wildflowers sprouting in the underwood. You will grow back over and over again, no matter how badly you are devastated." Speaking frankly of her own condition, battling cancer, Reverend Teal said, "This is who I am right now, devastated and healing." That's who we all are, she said, in this crisis. That's why we need to be present with our bodies, with care, and with love, and with touch. She said, "We must learn to love without judgment." Devastated may describe how you are feeling in these times. But healing is a magic word, for it has two meanings. We can pray for healing for our friends, our country, for our own embodied, battered souls. But healing is also an action, something we are called upon to do. Jesus said, "For I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me." Liz wrote a blog just last month. I have to share this. It's called Ribbit. You know, ribbit, ribbit. How can someone so small make so much noise? Never let your size determine what you have to say. If it's important, let the world know. David prepared a farewell video from Reverend Lizzie on YouTube the day she died, based on a poem and a painting she created in 2017. I'd like to close with it. Love saves the world. In the darkest night, on the brightest day, when all feels lost, when all is won, when all is grief, yes, even then, love. It is a commandment. It is a verb. It is a paving stone on the road. It is the ground of our being. It is the path. It is the way. Love.